Hi, I'm hiding. There I am. Hi. Welcome into twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uppers. My name is Graham D, and I'm joined by Mr. Bib. I'll read Bib.
Good afternoon, Graham. How are you doing?
I'm good. For those of you who may be just tuning in, we get a lot of new viewers at the moment because we are featured on the front page of Twitch all the way through December. So we do get a bunch of new people dropping in every day. But if you don't know, my name is Graham. This is Bib. We are Ice Cream Uploads, and in true ice creamy fashion, this is The Scoop. And we are live with the UK's #1. No, this is do you know, I think I've balls that up. Do you know what? What I meant to say was this is the UK's #1 video game podcast. Ish. Or at least, you know, we do say so ourselves. Anyway, what I was going to say was we usually go live each and every single weekday at 10 a.m.-ish. But usually going live is also ish, or at least it has been recently. We've been kind of busy out the country, birthdays, prepping for a big event, doing some work stuff inside, all of that too. So we've had a lot less streams over the last month or two than we usually would do. But did you know that Twitch recaps are available right now? You can do your Twitch 2023 recap. And as Bibby found out yesterday, we are averaging more than one stream per day for the entire year. So
absolutely, Graham. Legitimately as well.
We are on we are on course to get over 365 streams in over the course of the year. So
Yep.
So, yeah.
Never a day wasted, Graham.
Absolutely. So yes, anyway, if you are watching the stream, hi. We are about to go through the Video Game Awards. We usually bring you the podcast each and every single weekday talking about the biggest, the best, and the breaking news from the world of video games. Well, last week, there was some big breaking news. Well, it was the Game Awards. It was the culmination of a full year of video game creativity. However, I was rudely out of the country, and then Bibby rudely had a birthday, so we've had to put a pin in that conversation until right now. So, yes, please do feel free to stick around for the next 40 minutes or so, as we're going to go through everything that was announced at the Video Game Awards. We might have to be quick for some parts of that because, you know, 3-hour shows kind of hard to condense into 40 minutes. But then we'll go through the fallout off the back of that. So please do feel free to get involved. If you are watching the stream, make sure you do get involved because we are live on Twitch recording this right now, but it will be exported as a video on YouTube and an audio podcast on iTunes and Spotify and Amazon Music and Google Play. There's a lot of places where over 200,000 people have watched and listened to our podcast. So please, if you are in the stream, do feel free to get involved with your thoughts, with your impressions. It's the Game Awards. It's the biggest event of the video game year. Well, it kind of is because E3 be dead, isn't it? But we'll talk about that one after in the next podcast. But yeah, the biggest video game event of the year, and that's a lot of power. But with great power comes great responsibility. And did they use it well? We're going to talk about that. So yeah, grab yourselves a seat. I don't know if you can hear Milo. He's proper hyped about this conversation. He's barking. He's like, yeah, let's go Video Game Awards. Okay, split screen. So, Mr. Bib.
Yes.
Video Game Awards.
Yes.
Did you watch it?
I didn't watch it in time, no, because I think it went live in the UK about 1 a.m.
Madness.
on a school day.
Madness.
Not happening.
I was getting up about an hour and a half after that to go to the airport, so there was definitely no chance that I was going to watch it. But I was like, oh, it's 6 o'clock-ish. I better keep my eye out for the Video Game Awards. It's going to start soon. One second, let me shout this dog. There we go.
Dog! Oh.
I just muted and went, Milo! So yeah, the Video Game Awards, I usually get to about 6, 7 in the evening and go, I'll keep my eye out and I'll see when it's starting. Because yeah, it's kind of a weird one. You get like an hour of boredom where you go through advertisements and then not meaning to be disrespectful, but you get a bunch of like smaller awards and then it naturally builds up to the big game of the year sort of thing. So you can easily keep one eye on the Game Awards for the first hour, an hour and a half, because there might only be 1 or 2 awards that you personally want to catch up on. So yeah, kept one eye out and then kept thinking, I must be looking in the wrong places because I've not seen anything. I didn't even twig until like the next morning, woke up to get to go to the airport, and I think someone, it might have been you or someone else that says it's not starting until 1 a.m. I was like, fuck yeah. I'm glad I didn't stay up for that one. But
yeah, I just seen all the new media outlets, just all the UK ones anyway. Like it's a big old slog for them because they'll be writing their timelines out as it's happening on VGC or Eurogamer or whatever. They'll have like a live timeline of what's happening, whilst at the same time writing out articles per game or per big announcement or something like that to be able to stack out the website of all the news and stuff. So it must have been a long old night for those guys.
Yeah, yeah. I can't remember who it was. It might have been Jordan Midler or someone, or Chris Scullion or someone had stayed. I think it was Chris Scullion. I think he'd stayed up for it, and he was like, yeah, like pretty much featured everywhere because he was like one of the few European journalists that had all of the news content pulled together. So, yeah, GG's. How the hell have you done that? Says Ted Knott. I'm assuming he's talking about our successful podcasting and stuff, and not just the fact that we've hit like 300 and some podcasts or whatever. We've got hardcore.
Confirmed.
Just been hardcore. Okay. So we're going to jump into the first article then. So the way it kind of works is basically we run through the article usually, and then we get your thoughts and impressions alongside our thoughts and impressions afterwards, because that's what it's about. We give you our thoughts and impressions, we want your thoughts and impressions, and then your thoughts and impressions on our thoughts and impressions. But if you haven't been here for one of the Game Awards or showcase sort of recap...
Are you laughing at me trying to disguise a yawn there, Graham?
No.
Leave it.
It's the...
I'm fighting for my life.
Amazing. Yes, so if you haven't been here for one of these, we kind of see how we go, because there's a lot of content to run through. So let me bring this article up on the screen here. So this is the IGN recap by Logan Plant. And if I look at the size of the little nubbin on the side to see how long it is. This is a big old article. So we'll pick things off as we go. Some things we'll stop and look at, play a little bit of video content while we're talking. Others, we might not even get time to do that. So we'll just see where we get to. So this was updated December the 8th, 2023 by Logan Plant at IGN. Obviously, that update came 6 hours after the initial writing at 12:38 a.m., but we'll jump into it. The Game Awards 2023 is a wrap, and it was a night full of huge video game reveals, from new AAA games like Capcom's Monster Hunter Wilds to the long-awaited reveal of Hideo Kojima and Xbox's OD. Here's everything that happened this year at the show. To see who took home all the hardware, check out our complete list of the Game Awards 2023 winners, but we'll jump into it. So, kicking things off, Capcom announces Monster Hunter Wilds coming 2025. I'm going to mute all of these, so if you want to see these with audio, we can share the link in the chat if you want to watch it either along with us or afterwards or whatever. We can share that link, but yeah, I'll keep the audio muted just because with that many trailers, there's a lot of potential for us to get some strikes and stuff, so we'll keep the audio down. But Monster Hunter Wilds coming 2025. Monster Wilds kicks off the 6th generation of Monster Hunter when it launches on PC, PS5, and Xbox Series XS in 2025. The reveal trailer showed off flying mounts, a desert area, and of course, huge monsters. This marks the first new generation of Monster Hunter since Monster Hunter World. Nice old reference for you there, for anyone that may have been around for a while. Kicked off Gen 5 back in 2018. The last generation of Monster Hunter saw the franchise gain enormous popularity across the globe. Both World and Monster Hunter Rise selling over 10 million units. Do you know what? I'd heard of it. But it was one of those like Monster and Hunter, just kind of the two very generic. It's like having War in your video game title. It was something that I'd heard of, seen possibly, but not really noticed. And I know of people like Spike, obviously Big Zombie Monkey on Twitch, if you don't know him, massive Monster Hunter fans, but never really... not even talking about catching my imagination. Never really resonated. I never even remembered seeing it until... Monster Hunter World. So, Monster Hunter Wilds, sequel coming to that 2025. What are your thoughts, Mr. Bibb?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a Monster Hunter guy either. I've tried to play a few of them, and it's just not my vibe. It's just not my kind of game. Like you say, there is people out there, like obviously the person that I know that's one of the biggest fans is the same person that you do, in Spike with Monster Hunter Worlds. I think that was the one that he was obviously playing the most, but he's even got tattoos of the Monster Hunter weapons, I think it is. So, but it's just not a game that resonates with me at all, really. Again, there seems to be a lot of them over like the last 5 years, and it was definitely went right over my head over the last 30 years, or over 30 years now that I've been alive. But yeah, it's just not something that's really captured my imagination. Obviously, being a Capcom guy as well, with the games that they've been putting out, it's just never really interested me all that much. And you would think that this type of game probably would be the type of game that I would vibe with, but it doesn't. I've tried the demos that they've put out on the Switch and things. It just as incompatible with me now as it was way back then. So yeah, it's definitely one that I'll be skipping. But I'm happy for those guys that want more Monster Hunter, because you're definitely getting them thick and fast.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not going to stay on Monster Hunter too long because I don't have much to say. I've never played it. But I'm happy for the people that are happy. I'm not happy that IGN skips their video onto a next video that I can't skip back to. What the fuck is this? So anyway, we'll keep going. So Monster Hunter Wilds is the first game announced. So kicking off strong, big title, massive series that's double 10 million selling over its last couple of titles. It then upgrades at least... in terms of mainstream success, in terms of Hideo Kojima officially reveals his Xbox project, now titled OD. Yeah, I'll keep it muted, it's quite loud. So we finally got the reveal for the long-awaited Kojima Xbox project. I'll unmute it a little bit, let's see what we're getting. And the man himself took the stage at the Game Awards 2023 to talk about it. Jordan Peele was also revealed as a collaborator on the project. The game features Sophia Lillis, Hunter Schafer, and Udo Kier, and it's being touted as much more than a game. This is Kojima doing Kojima things again. So Sophia Lillis, I believe, was in like It. She was like the girl. Like, obviously, if you haven't seen the new It film, there's obviously a bunch of kids in it. I think she was the girl from the group in It. And there's Udo Kier on screen. He's been in things like Indiana Jones films, Ace Ventura, and other stuff over the years. So basically, Kojima's gone, I want to do Hollywood actors and stuff, but
yeah,
in video games again. So did you see anything on this, babe?
Yes, I watched this trailer, and as I was watching the trailer, I was like, "Is this real? Like, is this an actual? Are these the actual actors and actresses that are on my screen? Like, is it a video recording?" And it wasn't until towards the end of the video, I think it's called MetaHuman or whatever it was for the Unreal Engine, where you can like basically render your face in there and make it animate and things like that.
Yeah.
That's what gave me the idea. Okay, yeah, so they've definitely just taken their likeness and put it into the game, but it looks incredible. Like, visually, it looks amazing, but this is still the same Hideo Kojima that 5 years ago was watching all these weird, psychedelic, survival horror type films. So this is definitely teetering on that kind of project side, away from Death Stranding. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing a little bit more of this. I don't particularly know the concept of it. It looks like someone's entering the door, and Sophia Lillis is quite clearly terrified by what it is that she's about to see. So I'm interested to see what kind of vibe it actually sets with it, especially if you look at his timeline over the last 5 years. You'll see that he is in that horror mindset, away from what Death Stranding was, as being like a walking simulator. I'm very much interested to see what kind of mindset is in with this, especially we'll keep on coming back to PT, because it was at the time a revolutionary type of horror game, which we've obviously seen now with Resident Evil 7 and other games of that ilk that have taken that concept and kind of ran with it with Resident Evil Village as well. So the way that we play survival horror games, I think it will be similar to that kind of vibe, but the way that he makes his video games and his thought process that goes into it is utterly bizarre, but seems to always come up with gold, away from Death Stranding, because that game again just didn't resonate with me whatsoever. But that's an anomaly for a Hideo Kojima game. So yeah, again, very interested to see what comes up with this.
Oh, I'm just trying to add in the Video Game Awards special, the VGA special. Actually, because I need to discuss it now on screen throughout of it, because if not, people would come in and just see us looking at a webpage.
While you're doing that, I really, after tanning that juice, I really need to go back to go to the toilet again. So give me like 3 minutes.
Nice. Okay, well, I will talk. I mean, this is the annoying thing with IGN now. IGN have just lost the Kojima video. I would have replayed it again, but now they've gone onto some other video, and there's no way for me to get back, which is absolute toilet. IGN, your website sucks balls. If anyone's going to be looking at it for a while, it sucks balls. But for me, if you didn't see what it was, OD, which is the new Kojima game, I only saw a little bit on it. OD is basically, it's not a video game. In true Hideo Kojima style, he's doing something different. It's a video game experience it's not even that. It's more about how did they describe it? Like, accessing your fear is how I will say it. That might not be the way that they've phrased it, but it's about testing your limits. It's about seeing how much fear you can take. And that's where the name came from, OD, like a nod to, you can overdose on fear. But that's what the whole thing is about. So it's some scary crossover using top-tier talent, the likes of Sophia Lillis-Udokia and I can't remember who the other, Hunter Schafer. So top-tier talent, but pushing your fear as a viewer. That's the idea of it. It's not necessarily a game. It's that new genre of game that you always hear with with Hideo Kojima's video games. I don't just want to do the same again. I want to do something different. But this one looks pretty cool. I mean, I agree with Bibby in terms of Death Stranding doesn't tickle my pickle, not like Metal Gear did. This has my attention more than Death Stranding did. I know Death Stranding was a bit marmitey in terms of, let's say, 100% of people don't like it, but a good 80%, so not quite Marmite, whereas that's 50-50-ish. So a good 80% of people liked Death Stranding, 20% just didn't get it at all. And then there was obviously some grey area between the two there. This one could be very divisive, or it could just be an absolute masterstroke. But OD on Fear sounds interesting. We'll see what it actually turns into. Next up, free God of War Ragnarok DLC is out next week.
Oh no.
Someone is at the front door.
Okay.
Nice.
Do you need to go?
No, it's fine. Just
Right.
as soon as I unmute the mics and stuff, dog barks, everything goes on. God damn. Anyway, PlayStation came to the Game Awards in a big way with a free DLC expansion for God of War Ragnarok titled Valhalla. It's out next week, and it takes elements of the roguelike genre and infuses it with a God of War combat. The DLC is a free download coming December 12th, so that's why Baby says it's out now. Obviously, this article was published last week, but came out yesterday. God of War Ragnarok DLC. Don't feel like we need to spend too long on this because God of War Ragnarok, massive sequel to a game of the year itself. So new DLC. Everyone's happy, right? Nice.
Yeah, definitely.
This one, though, is the one that I mentioned it like as we were running through the intro. This is something I did want to see. So Arcane Studios, the developer behind Dishonored and Deathloop, is partnering with Marvel to develop a brand new Blade game. It's going to be a mature, single-player, third-person game set in the heart of Paris. Development just started on Blade, so it could be a while until we get to see it. I'm going to hit play on this. I'm going to turn it down, even though I do want to listen to it, but I'll have to watch this afterwards. But this excites me. Bethesda, obviously Arcane Studios is Bethesda. You obviously see Dishonored and Deathloop. Yeah, they appeared on PlayStation, but this is very much now an Xbox studio working on a brand new video game. Is this Xbox's version of Spider-Man? Because Blade is massive. Blade is credited with bringing back the... I said bringing back, actually, I'm going to mute this because it's getting quite loud. Blade is credited with not bringing back, but starting the superhero movie revolution. Blade and its success led to Tobey Maguire becoming Spider-Man, and then off the back of that, obviously, fast forward 20 years, we've had all of the MCU into Phase 4 and so on now. And Blade is cool as fuck. Let's start with that
Cool
bit.
as fuck.
Yeah. So you've got such a recipe there. Is this a cool as fuck character that hasn't really been represented or hasn't been represented in 20 odd years? It's probably not that. Whenever Blade 3 came out, that's probably more like 15 years or something. The one with Ryan Reynolds in, the one that's a bit gash, but you still watch it anyway because it's on ITV2 at like 11:30 on a Saturday night. Well, I remember this. We'll leave that
Just
on.
after the Mummy.
Yeah, exactly. So, but the first Blade, phenomenal film.
Yeah.
So phenomenal character. Is almost Wolverine-esque in the fact that he's got that almost anti-hero vibe to him. I'm going to turn this off because this is some other trailer now. Almost that anti-hero vibe to him. He's a good guy, but he's not afraid to do bad things and get messy in the process. They've Insomniac have got Wolverine coming. Bethesda and Arcade now have as the next best thing in the MCU, but not the MCU. But everyone kind of muddies the lines with the MCU. So yeah, mega hype for that. Did you see the trailer for it?
I did. badass. It's definitely one of the games that I was most looking forward to. I'm interested to see what kind of game we're going to get from it, because it looks quite comic booky, doesn't it? It looks quite anime, the way that it's perceived in the trailer.
The way that I thought of it looking then, I mean, it just to confirm as well, if you put that Blade trailer against the last trailer you've seen for Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man 2 looks better. If you put that trailer against Wolverine, Wolverine looks better. But I think that is because this is, they've said it's only just started, the development stuff. So they've clearly got it to the point where we can go, can we get some form of teaser trailer out? Because there was a bit where they were shaving his neck, and it's I'm not being a dick with this, stick with it by the way. There's a bit where like you can see like the skin, and it's almost like marble, and then you've got the hairs sticking out of it. It's like you can clearly tell where hair stops and skin starts, kind of thing. There's none of that depth of texture, the visual fidelity of something. I wouldn't be surprised if that doesn't stay like that, and when it comes back around, we get something that's super detailed. But
I would love it in like the Wolverine, like you mentioned before, like the Wolverine type environment. But yeah, Blade is honestly one of my favorite franchises. Like, I think Wesley Snipes as Blade is one of the coolest fucking characters there has ever been, not just in the superhero world, but on TV at all. Like, he is what I imagine Blade to be like in the next 20 years, even though it definitely won't be Wesley Snipes that we're playing him in 20 years' time. He is the embodiment of Blade and what I perceive him to be like. So I'm super looking forward to what this is going to be, and how we're going to end up playing it. Because did you ever play the Blade games, like the one on PS1, and then I think Blade 2 was on the PS2? Did you ever play any of those?
no, I was burned by too many movie crossovers. So a lot of movie crossovers I've not touched.
Yeah, so there was okay for the time. I don't think they would have held up very well, but I remember playing them to death. Like, I don't think they were great games. I can't remember because obviously it was so long ago. But I remember the controllers being quite janky and stuff. But yeah, I absolutely loved playing those. I was definitely far too young to be watching and playing Blade stuff. But yeah, I love it, so I can't wait to see what this is gonna. This would be, depending on what it ends up being, this would be one of those games that I would genuinely go out and buy an Xbox Series S or X for, or play it on my PC, because I love Blade so much. So yeah, I'm super excited to see what we're going to be getting from this. I hope it's not that kind of anime stuff that we're seeing in the trailer. Hopefully that is just a placeholder, because that would turn me off a little bit. But
I kind of feel like I feel like it might evolve, because it says it's going to be a mature single-player third-person game, and I get like what I genuinely get from it is Fortnite then versus now. So you go back to early days development Fortnite versus what Fortnite looks like now. Just yesterday, I was watching Bibby run around in the office on Fortnite, and the depth on that game, and what was your Xbox Series S, so you weren't even like on a Series X or a top end PC or something, and it looks fucking gorgeous. And people that haven't played Fortnite since then will probably just think it looks the same, but if you put two things side by side, you'll see how far it has come. And I kind of get that feeling, like that we'll see that level of progression. It's just like, one thing that hasn't changed in Fortnite is the styling of the characters, obviously, and that's the only thing there is that almost like that Fortnite comic book sort of style of character, rather than realistic limb sizes and so on. So if it does, that would lose points for me as well, in that sort of sense. I like Spider-Man because it's a real world representation in a video game. I didn't want it to be an animatized, if that's even a word, version of the real world. So I'd still play it. I'd probably still really enjoy it, but it doesn't hit quite as good as I want it to. Which ties in nicely to it being an Xbox game. And Tito says, in your first PlayStation 2 presents, it's ours and you can't have it. If it was a PlayStation game, it wouldn't be cartoons, mate. It'd be serious Spider-Man-esque, Wolverine-esque stuff. So in your first, mate. Yeah. Okay, we'll move ahead. Bring this back on. So Sega announces 5 new games in development, including Jet Set Radio. I'll hit play on this, but we'll push past this. I know this is big news, but we could spend quite a long time on this one, so we'll just be brief overall. But Sega dropped a huge announcement at the Game Awards, revealing 5 new games in development: Jet Set Radio, Shinobi, Golden Axe, and this is the one where Bibby was like, when he was talking about it on the scoop a couple of days ago, Streets of Rage and Crazy Taxi, and more. No dates or other information was given, but this is very exciting for long-time Sega fans, and it absolutely is. Like, don't get me wrong, I never played Jet Set Radio. It passed me by completely. Shinobi, I spent shitloads of time playing. Golden Axe, tons of time playing. Streets of Rage, tons of time. Crazy Taxi was one that I think most other people liked more than me. I liked it more for the music than for the... It was almost like that wave sort of gameplay that you get in zombie modes now. That's what Crazy Taxi was. You've got to get there fast, and you've got to get there fast, and you get there fast again, and can you get there fast again? And that kind of didn't hit me. But even still, when they release that many titles, there is something there for everyone. So big dubs.
Big dubs.
I'm not going to ask you for your thoughts, because if you want to see Bibby's thoughts, then you can see it on the previous episode of The Scoop that he recorded on Monday when he did a dollop. He spoke about it then. But now we'll talk about No Man's Sky developer, which Bibby also spoke about in that podcast. Hello Game shows off Light No Fire. The finals... Oh, no, actually... No. I missed one. Embark's The Finals is available now. So the finals, Embark's competitive shooter Shadow dropped at the Game Awards 2023. I did not know this. Nice. And is available to play on PC now. Embark is a studio created by former Battlefield developers, and their first project is the game show shooter where players compete for fame, money, and sponsorships. Do you know what? We played this game in beta. We did. We've had a bunch of codes for this. When it first came out in the closed beta, we had a bunch of codes that we gave away to some friends. Then when it came out for the second closed beta, we got more codes that we gave away. And I mean, full disclosure, when we played it, we didn't really know what we were doing, and we were really shit. But it's such a well-made game. I watched Sheepfragger play a ton of it, and he made it look fucking phenomenal. So didn't even know that this Shadow dropped. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, the trailer, like this. I know for FPS trailer, people, it looks fucking brilliant. Like, it looks such a good trailer, and the music is amazing as well. I don't know whether or not it's copyright or not. It doesn't sound like a copywritten track, but yeah, this the skins on the guns, like when they're running through a casino, and you can see the roulette table on top of the I don't even know what they call as a gun. It's not. Is it Tommy gun? It might be a Tommy gun. You see like the roulette table on the top of it.
In PUBG, it's a DP28, but we call it a pizza gun. So gun with a round drum mag kind of thing.
Yeah. With a roulette table on top of it. So obviously the amount of customization that you're going to be getting from this. The thing that I will take away from this is obviously what we played in the beta, and it absolutely felt like a Battlefield game, which is a massive thumbs up tick, massive plus in their favor. So yeah, I knew that this dropped. It's not something that I have downloaded yet, though. I mean, Precision actually messaged me on the day after, I think it was, asking if I wanted to jump online and get on it. To jump on and have it and get into their squad. I just didn't have time at the time, but this is one that I will keep on my console when the time is right to jump into it, because I did enjoy what we played through it. Bear in mind, it was probably like less than 3 hours. So I'm guessing there's a lot of replayability in this, like a battle royale, but it's shaped like an arena shooter.
Yeah. Tito says it's going to be popular with Rainbow Six Siege players. I don't think it's casual friendly. Great looking game though. Yeah, this is the thing. There is definitely a skill gap with this sort of game, and that's the thing that might be ultimately its downfall, is that multiplayers shooters have been around for forever. Battle royales have been around for long enough now that they're all trying to cater to the casuals more than the niche top end, because that's what happens with the game. You'll get something like a battle royale that's super difficult, sweaty in terms of, not sweaty in terms of people holding corners and stuff, but sweaty in terms of, shit, I've got a spatula, I don't know how to fucking get my loot, I need to fucking... And it doesn't matter if it's survival sort of games like DayZ's or full battle royales like your PUBGs and things like that. People, like, you've put a lot of time, a lot of effort to get the little loot that you've got, so you've put a lot of effort in for stuff that's perceived large reward, and anything you do to lose that is a massive risk. And people are used to that. Get used to that, but then it becomes more mainstream, and the lower the threshold to get in, and the skill gap drops inevitably. But that's about maximizing user base and stuff like that. So when everyone gets into that sort of mindset, it takes something very special or very different to bring people out of that mindset. Obviously, jumping from multiplayer into battle royale was one of those twists. This like competitive arena shooter sort of element has been around before, so it needs to be something special in terms of gameplay to bring people into it. And I hope this is, because it looks fucking glorious, like ridiculously good. The gameplay is good, looks stunning, the mechanics are good. I hope it gets a good chunk of time, even if it doesn't become a world success. I hope it doesn't follow the path of your knockout cities and Rumbleverse and things like that. I hope it has more than a 6-month lifetime, because it looks, the way it looks, it deserves it. And if the developers can make a packet on this, then I'm very much excited to see what comes after.
Well, like what Tito says there, so it's going to be popular with the Rainbow Six Siege players. If that's the case, then this game will obviously have a heartbeat for a long time. I don't know whether or not the Rainbow Six Siege people are looking to move away and probably expand their time played on a different IP, but I feel like this has all the hallmarks for people to get good and make it an esports title. I mean, a lot of people seem very negative towards esports ready games nowadays, because you get people who are companies that are trying to manufacture games to be esports first, rather than it being a game that they can get behind. But obviously, working in our industry, having an esports game is a fantastic cornerstone of what professional esports can be like. And I can absolutely see this having teams from established esports companies and just running wild with it. I think it has the capabilities to have the legs to carry an esport. It's always nice to have a new contender like Apex. I think is probably the one that springs to mind as being the latest addition to the esports roster. I mean, you can chuck in Overwatch 2 as well, but we obviously already had Overwatch League before that. But I think Apex is probably the last real esports entry into the scene. I'm struggling to think of a game that's come after it that has been a mainstay in the esports world.
No, I mean, obviously, if anyone's in chat and does have one, feel free to throw it in, but I think you are pretty right. I do feel like that trade-off of brands coming in and going, we need an esports game, and that's doing it backwards. You don't plan to be the world leader of esports. I mean, you do a little bit. You don't not plan for it, but the main thing you need to do is make a game that inspires people to want to play and come back and play and be the best at it. That feeds your esport. Like, just this weekend, I was in Bologna for a trading card game that was basically esports, and it wasn't because it was physical. Trading card we were there. But a lot of similar elements. It was live broadcast on Twitch and so on. But that wasn't planned for, do you know how much money we can make by streaming this and getting other people to want to be the same and get involved as well? It was made about creating the cards, a game where people can play against each other and so on. And then the esports or the competitive stuff came off the back of that. And too many games are trying to land as an esports ready title, and that's not the way. I mean, don't get me wrong, have that in your plans, have that in your mindset, but that's phase 2, phase 3, phase 4. Your first phase is, can we make a game that's great that people want to play? And this looks great, and people have played it and has done the bits. The only thing I will say is that I didn't know it had actually launched. And I've heard more about games that are dead in the last 5 days than I have heard about this, which is very much alive, which doesn't give me the biggest warm feeling inside. So that's a bit of a shame, but we'll put a pin in that. We'll move ahead. No Man's Sky developer Hello Games shows off Light No Fire. So Hello Games developer of No Man's Sky and The Last Campfire has revealed its next game is called Light No Fire, and it looks to be a very ambitious open world online multiplayer game. The gameplay showed building, dragon riding, and cooperative elements. Did you see this?
Yes, not my bag that much, if I'm being honest.
No, I agree. Do you know what? We are running out of time, so we'll just say looks cool, but we'll keep going. Final Fantasy 16 DLC announced. I'm gonna brush past this one as well. I know this is probably the biggest content for a lot of people. I'll let the trailer play while we go through it. But Square Enix revealed 2 waves of DLC for Final Fantasy 16: Echoes of the Fallen and Rising Tide. Echoes of the Fallen is out today with new story chapters and takes place just before the final battle, and the Rising Tide is coming in spring 2024. Obviously, Final Fantasy 16 is in conversations for Game of the Year, and just like we did with God of War, that kind of speaks for itself, so we don't really need to put too much time into this. If you're interested in Final Fantasy 16 DLC out now / early next year. Next up, Rise of the Ronin gets a March 2024 release date. Do you know what? This I'd completely forgotten about, but this was, I remember being one of my picks for, like, it was either a State of Play or something like that. It looked fucking gorgeous. Anyway, Rise of the Ronin is officially coming to PS5 on March 22nd, 2024. Team Ninja's upcoming open-world samurai game got a lengthy new trailer in addition to the new date. What are your thoughts, Mr. Bibb?
Yeah, I'm just rewatching the trailer now. It's not my bag, if I'm being honest. It definitely is the type of game that I would imagine Sho having the time of his life with. And you to a certain extent, but visually it looks beautiful. It's just not the kind of game that I would be putting aside a little bit of time to be able to play through.
Just
but
to jump in. It does look beautiful, but the video that we're watching, for some reason, has a really crap fucking bitrate / frame rate on it. So it looks better than it looks right here because we've seen that before. But, so yeah, take his word for that. Sorry, carry on.
But yeah, that was literally it. It's I'm not a massive fan of. I mean, Tenchu is probably the only kind of samurai game that I think I've ever experienced where I've probably played it through to the end. But yeah, it's these kind of games.
Did you just say Tenchu?
Show yourself.
Tenchu?
Where are you?
Tenchu?
Where are you? Where are you?
Oh, you can't hear these. I'm pressing buttons like you're supposed to be hearing it. I'm praying the show yourself. Where are you? I completely forgot that you can't hear those, but the stream can. Never mind, as you were.
What was you pressing?
I've got 2 sound effects on my stream deck from Tenchu. Like when you used to get spotted by a guard and you'd disappear, you'd hear the guards like do like NPC speak, and one of them goes, "Show yourself." And then you go, "Where are you?" So I've got those as buttons. So I press them whenever I'm trying to find someone in PUBG and they run off on hard. I'm like, "Show yourself. Where are you?" So yeah, there you go. Yeah. Generally, not kind of my sort of game. But I remember seeing that and thinking, this looks fucking glorious. So definitely, as you said, if you know who Shogun Ash is on Twitch, that's definitely a Shogun Ash game, but looks great. Nice that we've got a release date only a few months away, so I will keep my eyes out for that. Sadikist, is it Sadikist? Hi, welcome in. Just stumbled across this, but you're spot on. No title aimed for esports makes it on its own. You need a foundation, and Milo to shut up. Shut up, dog. And the player base, you ostracize the casual player base and turn them off focusing on just esports. Additional, if you plan an esport, the spectator mode, model/mode is as important as the gameplay. Tribes Ascender was incredible play, but horrible to watch. Do you know what? We work in video game marketing. Hi, by the way, how you doing? We work in video game marketing and esports, and there are so many games out there that survive thanks to the community goodwill that don't have spectator modes and things like that because they just didn't exist. Football games is a great one for that. I don't believe FIFA or FC24, one of the biggest games in the world, has a proper spectator mode embedded in the game. They may be for the developers at their events, possibly, but for general spectators and people that want to do their own esports events and so on, doesn't exist. Which is kind of understandable because the games have been around forever and they did the right thing where they were making content for a video game community, but they didn't make the esports bits from the start. That sort of stuff often gets overlooked by too many games. But yeah, you are right. Make a game for the people that you want to play it, and also in the back of your mind have a plan to make that consumable for the masses, and you're onto a winner. Do not run before you can walk. Welcome into the channel, though, by the way. I appreciate you being here. So Rise of the Ronin gets a March 2024 release date, and we'll jump back into the recap for Skull and Bones is actually a thing. Who knew?
A real thing.
I know, goddamn. The only reason it's a real thing, I believe, and I've heard this a bunch of times, is somewhere like I don't know. I think it was an Asian country, I believe, invested or gave some form of like government grant towards the development of this. So Ubisoft were kind of held over a barrel. Any other game, they'd have probably gone, yeah, we're not going to bother with this. Sea of Thieves came out a bajillion years ago and already did the pirate thing, so we'll give it up. But because they were given a grant from a government, they had to bring the game out. So that's the reason why it's still been going, even though it's been trundling along. But we now have a release date.
That.
Yeah. I might have covered
That's
on a Scoop article when you were away. I think it might have been one of the ones where I dolloped and you weren't around.
Right.
But,
That's interesting.
Yeah, so Skull and Bones got given a governmental grant. If anyone wants to do any Googling while we're sat here, feel free. Got a governmental grant, so that's pretty much the only reason why they stuck with it for a 5-year development cycle. Someone else is at the door. Fucking hell, mate. Anyway, after half a dozen delays, Skull and Bones has yet another release date. This time, February 16th, 2024, 2 days after Valentine's Day. So if you want a bit of at-sea romance...
Looks good.
I didn't hit play on it. I should have done, but I have done now.
Well, just imagine Sea of Thieves, but a Ubisoft version. That's what it feels like. I was never interested in playing Sea of Thieves, and people keep on telling me that Sea of Thieves will be right up my street. Until I saw Wobbles playing it, and I mean, if anyone knows who Wobbles is, absolute top lad, terrible gamer.
Singapore.
So,
there you go. Sorry, David just found out the country that it was that put the money into this. But yeah, carry on.
Amazing. And it actually looks like a really, really good, fun game. But I can imagine it being an absolute drip if you're playing on your own. Like, I imagine you need to have your seaman alongside you. Knob joke there. To try and obviously breathe some life into it, because I imagine sailing the seas on your own is quite a shitty experience. But the way that he was playing it with Lotus, and I don't know if it was Neil, it could have been anybody else that was playing with him, or usually plays in the morning. It could have been Bowser, actually. But yeah, it looks like a really good game. And this looks similar because it's a C game. But I love Ubisoft games. I know they get a lot of shit because they are literally copy and paste with different eras, different characters. But I love a Ubisoft game. So this is definitely right up my street. This might be one that I actually jump in and play. I'm not too sure. We'll wait.
Yeah, I've watched. First person I watched streaming Sea of Thieves was Lotus. I don't think I've actually seen Wobble streaming it, although I have seen he's been live. I've watched 12 play it as well. So I've seen a few people play it, Sea of Thieves, and I thought, yeah, this looks pretty cool. The thing is like, I remember seeing them both in the same conference. It must have been an Xbox conference about 6-7 years ago, maybe not that much. I'm thinking, out of Sea of Thieves or Skull and Bones looks like more my kind of game. Sea of Thieves, less so. And then obviously Sea of Thieves came out, did well. Skull and Bones got delayed and so on. So there was no option for it. And then all the news of it being delayed after delayed after delayed, I was like, wow, it's clearly just there's only one game in this conversation then in terms of Skull and Bones is going to be what the day before is. It's just going to be a buggy mess if it ever arrives and that sort of stuff. But I'm actually quite happy to see it being here. The interesting thing, though, is most of the people that I've seen playing Sea of Thieves or being interested in Sea of Thieves or so on are the people that wouldn't play Fortnite but would play PUBG. But yet they're playing the pirate Fortnite and not the pirate PUBG. What? So, yeah, there you go. Anyway, we'll move ahead. I'm going to start having to pick up the pace because we are running out of time rapidly. So Lost Records Bloom Rage is the next game from Life is Strange creator Don't Nod. So Don't Nod, the creator of Life is Strange and developer of Jusant, Twin Mirror, and Tell Me Why, revealed our first look at its next universe. Lost Records Bloom and Rage is coming out next year to PC, Xbox, and PS5 with a story that focuses on friends who reunite after 2 decades. I'm not going to play it. But Don't Nod makes some really good game trailers and some impactful emotive games, so probably a good look in there. Dragon Ball Sparking Zero gets a proper reveal. We got a new trailer for Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, the previously teased Budokai Tenkaichi game that now has a proper title. Probably butchered the pronunciation there, but I'm not a Dragon Ball person, so that obviously is a little bit lost on me.
I am.
What, you're a Dragon Ball person?
Well, I used to be. I don't want to say when I was a kid because that makes it sound like all you fucking losers that are still watching Dragon Ball.
Okay,
but genuinely, yeah. But I was super in. Me and my sister used to watch Dragon Ball every single Friday when it came out on like I want to say I don't think it was Boomerang. It could have been Boomerang. Whatever the Sky Channel was back in the day. I mean, like Cartoon Network doesn't even exist anymore, which is again a crying shame. No, Cartoon Network died like 3 years ago.
Ooh.
I know. An absolute institution. No one watches Sky anymore, Graham. Like no one cares about Sky, and it. So,
that's like the
yeah,
Morrisons of TV. If they've not brought out an app, then you keep up, mate.
Yeah, you're on life support.
Yeah,
and unfortunately, they wasn't making Ed and Eddie's anymore, was he? Our Powerpuff Girls. So, yeah, I was massive.
Really fast.
Yeah. It always tickles me that.
Wait, what kind of network is that? Sorry, Tank. You've just found out alongside me as well.
We can all shed tears together. But yeah, I remember playing Dragon Ball Final Bout on the PlayStation 1 with my sister for hours and hours. I was a big Dragon Ball fan. I haven't played one for a long time. There was one that came out on the PlayStation 4. I'm fairly certain it was Xenoverse or something like that. That came out on the PlayStation 4. I loved that game. I'd never played Xenoverse 2, and I haven't played an actual one like this. This might get me attention a little bit. But yeah, I fucking loved Dragon Ball. I hated the fact that it was in Fortnite, but I love Dragon Ball.
Well, the trailer looks pretty good, actually. I had it playing them while I was talking through it. So, yep, it now has a proper title. So a new Dragon Ball game is coming. Next up, Fortnite Rocket Racing gets a new trailer out tomorrow. Fortnite.
Have you played it yet?
I haven't yet. No, you spoke to me about it yesterday. It was the first time I'd heard about it. But it says Fortnite's take on Rocket League is out tomorrow, and Epic showed off a new trailer at the Game Awards. It's not embedded in this, but quickly, thoughts on Rocket Racing?
Yeah, well, that sentence that they put there, Fortnite's take on Rocket League is out tomorrow. That is not the right turn of phrase for it. Obviously, Epic make Rocket League as well, so they've kind of put the controls of how you control the car in Rocket League into Fortnite when you're doing the track racing, but it's genuinely like any other kart racing arcade game, but just in Fortnite with not the finest selection of tracks, I will say. Like I'm a freak when it comes to kart racing games. I don't know why. I'm just really good at them, and it's very, very good. But it can be quite boring because the tracks just aren't entertaining enough. The tracks aren't exciting. Like there's nothing on each of the tracks that makes you go, okay, I need to play this track a few more times to learn where all the secrets are and where you can shave a few seconds off your timer. Like the fact that it's all ranked as well is great for me. Love that shit. But yeah. It's not Rocket League in any way, shape, or form. It's literally a track racing, kart racing game. Very fast paced, very, 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 very fun. It just needs that. It needs a little bit more inspiration when it comes to making the tracks because at the moment they are just a little bit bland and there's only like 8 in rotation too. But it definitely has got a lot of potential, especially for a free game to have a track racing game within Fortnite. And then you've got the rhythm mode to go alongside it as well. And then you've obviously got Lego Fortnite in there, which is shitting all over any other part of Fortnite at this moment in time by like ×4. Like no one's playing the BR side of it. They're all playing Lego. But yeah, Fortnite is the game at the moment. Like the amount of stuff that you can do inside Fortnite game mode wise, it's the market leader. Like nothing's coming close to it.
A little bit of a spoiler for you, by the way. This hasn't been confirmed yet, so it might not work. But if you're playing Fortnite and you think, do you know what, I want some V-Bucks, then use code ICU as your creator code, by the way. So if you're buying anything in Fortnite or you're buying anything from the Epic Games Store, buying anything in Rocket League or any of those, code ICU. It's only in progress. It might not be ready yet, but it might be. So yeah, make sure you have a quick check. If you buy anything, code ICU. Nice. You get some tasty bot lobbies in the Rocket mode too. Do you? Ah, interesting. Hi Flynn. Hi. For anyone that doesn't know, by the way, is it Carito? Flynn? Is that how I'm pronouncing it? I'm assuming that is Flynn, right? If not, then I'm just thinking you're one of our team.
Fucking
but you're not.
ban him anyway for that slander that he's come in there with.
Is he saying you've been coming up against bots, Bib?
I think so, mate. Yeah, but I mean, he's the biggest bot that I've seen. So if he wants to get lit up on the course, then he knows my gamer tag.
I've just realised how many actual articles we have still to go through in this one. So I'm just going to put my foot in full Rocket Racing mode style on the gas. Nice, see that tangent. To speed ahead first, though. What I will say is, though, it's interesting to see Fortnite and Rocket League being thrown into the same game. Like, are Epic just going to give up with their other games and put them all in Fortnite? Are they eventually going to embed the Epic Game Store within Fortnite as well? Because like we're going to get a Fall Night mode where Fall Guys are running around or something as well. So
maybe.
Nice.
Just on a very small tangent, I may have been wrong about Cartoon Network. It was going under. And it was on life support, but it seemed like it did get saved in October last year, so it is still a thing.
Whew.
Sorry for ruining people's childhoods for about 10 minutes there.
Johnny Bravo, fucking company say the fastest it's ever been. Like, God damn. Epic might actually make some money then. Epic make tons of money. They've got that much of it that they can throw tons away. Tank says bastard. Epic Store at least. Yeah, exactly. That's it. They're trying to brute force the Epic Store into existence, so they'll just keep throwing like 1% of their mega profit away every year, and then just be like, hopefully it'll take off.
What was that code again, Graham?
I see you, just in case you want to buy anything or download anything. You want to use your Free Game Fridays games from the Epic Game Store? You can even include the code then. I do believe we get some form of kickback from a marketing thing there. So if you're downloading anything from the Epic Game Store, type code ICU. Pow.
Yep, you only have to put it in once as well. You don't have to put it in every time.
Might not work just yet, but it will be. It will do by the end of the week. Nice. So Fortnite Rocket Racing gets a new trailer. It's already in the game and stuff now. Okay, I'm going to start to pick up the pace. I'll bring the article back up, but we'll start to skip things out now. So Ori developer Moon Studios reveals No Rest for the Wicked. So No Rest for the Wicked is the next game for the developers Ori and the Blind Forest and Ori Will of the Wisps. It's Moon Studios' take on a Diablo-like ARPG. The reveal trailer showed off a gorgeous world, plenty of creatures to fight and treasure to find. Feel free to check that out if you want. BioWare veterans reveal a new if you want me to stop on anything in particular, by the way, do feel free to.
Yeah, I will do. I'll just put the link in the chat so everybody else can follow it at the same time.
Nice. So BioWare veterans reveal a new RPG. I'll hit play on that. It's 2.5 minutes, so we're clearly not going to watch it all. But a team of ex-BioWare developers revealed their new sci-fi RPG. It's called Exodus, and it's in development at Archetype Entertainment. The trailer revealed that players will take the role of the traveler, exploring the universe while avoiding enemies known as Celestials. Genuinely would look at this and think, oh, Starfield, nice.
Looks good.
Does look good. I mean, BioWare veterans, you kind of expect that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, we hope it's a little bit better than their last outing. But yeah, it looks visually, it looks great. I'm holding my breath as to what the actual storyline and gameplay mechanics will consist of. But yeah, I love space shit, and this is definitely one that's tickling an itch. But again, it just comes down to gameplay and stuff like that.
Spaceship? I thought you were trying to say spaceship, but mispronounced. I love spaceship.
I love space shit.
Are they the same BioWare developers that did Anthem? If so, no thank you. I mean, to be fair, do you know what? I actually don't blame the developers, because arguably Anthem played very, very well. It just didn't have anything to do. So the developers aren't necessarily the issues. I know obviously developers are part of the whole team, so that includes everything from level designers to script writers to QA and so on. But whoever was involved in designing the long-term life of that video game with a problem, the developers themselves that did the actual code and the physics side of it made it phenomenal. I mean, that you can see that because that stuff's been pushed forward into EA's Iron Man game and stuff that's coming. So yeah, interesting. So if it is those, do you know what? It could be really good. All they need is a couple of good story writers and people that can plan for the long-term life of the game, and you could be onto a good thing. But next up, so Exodus reveal trailer. That's Exodus from Archetype Entertainment. So next up, Big Walks is the next game from Untitled Goose Game developer. Never played Untitled Goose Game, but nice. House, have a new game if you want to play something. Kamuri is the first game. Kamuri is the first game. I'm sure that should be from Ikumi Nakamura's new studio, Unseen. This actually looked pretty badass. I'm not gonna lie. I saw this because of mutuals on social media. Content creators that I've known and worked with for best part of a decade were involved in this in some way, shape, or form. And this once again is a Shogun Ash sort of video. It looks like Spider-Verse crossed with that Rise of the Ronin that we've just seen. It looks fucking awesome. Whether it's a game that would actually grab my attention when we see it, obviously from a first trailer that's very cinematic, you can't really tell what you're looking at. in terms of that, it looks fucking badass. But yeah, want to keep our eye on. Dead by Daylight spin-off revealed. So Behaviour Interactive and Supermassive Games revealed the casting of Frank Stone, a new story-based game set in the DBD universe. Would you be interested in a Dead by Daylight story, Bib?
Yes. But I'll have to wait to see what obviously that consists of, because it's a 5v1 game. I don't know how that transfers over to a storyline narrative, but I'll wait to see, I suppose. I'm super excited for the next article, by the way. Like this, if we're gonna watch one all the way through, please let it be the next one, because this is my pick of the show.
Interesting. Okay, Dead by Daylight, Funko Pop of scary games. Good shouts. Okay, no, do you know what? Completely forgot this next game was in here. So yes, yes. This is the only trailer that I watched from the whole thing. Fucking whoosh. Sneak, welcome in. Hi. Good seeing you here. I'm just looking around to see if my Sneak Shaker's on hand. I think it's downstairs. But hi, welcome in. Big fan. Good to see you. We are talking about video games. So if you missed this, the Video Game Awards took place last week. I was in Italy for a work event over the weekend. Bibby had his birthday, so we're catching up with the Video Game Awards now. We're probably not even halfway through the overall broadcast, so grab yourself a seat. So Jurassic Park Survival coming from Saber Interactive. I'm going to hit play on this. The volume will be pretty much low, so if you don't want it spoiled, obviously feel free to not keep your eyes on it. You can go watch it at your own leisure. We did put the link to the article in the chat. I'm gonna have to mute it because the fucking music's fucking amazing. Okay, so we got a look at the new first-person Jurassic Park game from Saber Interactive, titled Jurassic Park Survival. I'm gonna stop. That alone is enough for me to say yes. that alone is enough for me to be buying in there. Jurassic Park Survival, yes, please. We will have a little bit of that. Thank you very much. Okay, playing. It's a revival of a cancelled action game from the early 2000s. We don't yet know if this is a proper revival of the plans for the cancelled game, or if it will take the Jurassic Park series in a new direction. So not much information. It's a very narrative-based story. So the trailer is based around this character. I think it does give the name, or the name was in the article that I read. This character basically running through lots of key set moments that you will have seen in the first Jurassic Park film. Do you know that Leonardo DiCaprio sort of like pointing at the TV sort of gif from Wolf of Wall Street? That's what this trailer is. That gif was made for this trailer, because you just think, I've seen that, I know that reference, kind of thing, over and over again. So yeah, anyway, that's enough of my waffling. While this plays out, what are your thoughts, Mr. Bibb?
Literally, I've watched this trailer like 4 times, and every single time I've been sat there with a smile on my face. Like this, I'm going to go on. I am not the world's biggest Jurassic Park film fan. Like, I love the films, but they're not my comfort films. You know what I mean? So being back in that world and seeing like the areas in which you like you just said, then the pointing at the screen kind of thing. Like, I get it all. However, this is a completely different spin. Like the reboot of the Jurassic Park films didn't really do that much for me. I'm very much an old school Jurassic Park. Was it Jurassic World?
Jurassic World, yeah. And then
Jurassic World.
Jurassic World Dominion, I think, might have been the last one. But yeah. Sorry. Continue.
Yeah, so I'm definitely not in that park. I'm the old school 90s kind of Jurassic Park kind of guy. But this, oh god, give me the survival horror game in a Jurassic Park world. I am all over that. Visually looks fantastic. It does actually look like we're getting some gameplay clips towards the end of this as well. So if they look like that in the game, oh baby, this is going to be definitely one of my games of the year. So I cannot wait to see. I mean, Saber Interactive, I'm going to say that they've got the best track record of making phenomenal games. I'm going to say that they make above average games. Like World War Z didn't really scratch the itch for me, if I'm being honest. But like they've released The Evil Dead not that long ago. I don't even think it's still alive. But yeah, this is definitely one that I am super excited to get a hold of and play more of.
Yeah, big fan of Jurassic Park. Have been forever. The music, the films. Me and David saw them for 1 million hours each. We were the kind of people that would go out and buy the the VHS, then buy the VHS twin box set when the Lost World Jurassic Park comes out, and then buy the 3 VHS box set when the 3rd film came out. Yeah, phenomenal films. Big fan of seeing Jurassic Park making it into video games. I actually have been in. We covered something on Jurassic Park. I think it was like Operations or something like that, and it was a mod based off of the Dreams game where someone essentially just made that scene where the T-Rex comes over the fence in the first Jurassic Park, and then they thought, do you know what, fuck it, we'll make a full game off the back of this, but because it had the Jurassic Park name on it, Universal or whoever owns the rights to it came after them, shut them down, said you can't do that, and so on. And I'm thinking, why are you doing that? Now I know why, because they've got their own Jurassic Park video game. Yes, it was Operations. Yeah, so I'm still in the Discord. I do keep looking in every now and then, but recently they've been talking about like being squashed. It explains why they've had such an effort on that. Interestingly, though, dinosaur action survivally sort of games. Jurassic Park are doing Dino Crisis before Dino Crisis does Dino Crisis. That's phenomenal. God damn.
This would have been the perfect Dino Crisis type game as well. Obviously, we've referenced Resident Evil 7 and Resident Evil Village earlier as taking the next step in the evolution of survival horror games, having it in first person. Like, if Dino Crisis wanted to go down that route, they probably could have done. But Jurassic Park are doing it first, and by God, from what we've seen in that trailer, from the presentation to what I hope is the gameplay clips. I mean, it was very brief, maybe 6 seconds towards the end. If that's what it looks like in the game, oh baby, like it genuinely excites me. That was my pick of the show. As soon as I saw it, I thought, that's it. That's the last game you need to show me. Like, it's genuinely the last game. It wins.
That was. I saw the logo of Blade and the Jurassic Park trailer, and I thought, what the fuck have I missed? Like, that was the first thing I saw on Friday morning after the thing. I was like, what have I missed? Fucking Blade video game and Jurassic Park video game. Turns out, like, that might be about all I'm interested in, really. I mean, I don't know, we've got more to go through, but that's all I've kind of really seen, and that on its own is enough hype for me. So yeah. Okay, we'll put a pin in that because we could talk about Jurassic Park for a long time. But Sneak says, we're looking for the full scoop. Have we gone to the right place? Hey! Thank you for the follow as well, Sneak. We appreciate that very, very much. Tank says, the whole scoop and nothing but the scoop. Yeah. It was Operations. They said at the time on the devs channel they thought something was in the pipeline. Did they? Well, there you go. Now we know. Okay, back into the article, picking up the pace again. Visions of Mana revealed by Square Enix. So Square Enix revealed the future of the Mana series with Visions of Mana. Visions of Mana is a brand new game in the series, set to release on PS5, PS4, Series X and S, and PC next year. This one I'd usually click on, but because we're quite far into it, and we've seen quite a lot of this over the last couple of years, Hellblade Senua's Saga gets a lengthy musical performance and trailer. Yes, older than 17. Yes, play. So we got another lengthy look at Hellblade 2, but no release date beyond its previously confirmed window of sometime in 2024. Still, the gameplay trailer showed off a gorgeous look at the upcoming sequel. If you haven't seen any of this stuff, by the way, definitely worth a look, because the technology in Hellblade Senua's Saga is phenomenal. The face mapping technology, they've shown you like how they've changed the actors' movements into, the actresses' movements into the actual characters' movements, and then they've done that in real time during the Unreal Engine State of Unreal showcase in March this year. So not just Ninja Theory and brand first-party showcases, but like engine-related showcases. There's a lot of stuff out there, which leads to this looking fecking gorgeous. I don't know much about Hellblade myself, but I know that this looks that good that I want to learn about Hellblade. And if you guys do, feel free to watch the video. For now, we'll jump forward a sec. So Joseph Fares' Brothers, A Tale of Two Sons is getting a remake. So Joseph Fares is the creative lead on co-op games like It Takes Two and A Way Out. And now his first big game is getting a remake. Brothers, A Tale of Two Sons remake is coming to PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC on February 28th. Have you played Brothers, A Tale of Two Sons?
I haven't. Obviously, me and you played through A Way Out on the Insert Coin stream.
Yeah,
very much enjoyed that, and I haven't played Takes Two either. It Takes Two.
We were going to play that, and then we just life busy and stuff, so we haven't got around to it. But Joseph Fares, he's the if you might have seen him, is the guy that looks basically like a model. Most developers that drop on stage at an E3 or whatever usually go for the stereotypical t-shirt, bomber jacket, jeans and trainers sort of look. There you go, I work in video games. Whereas Joseph Fares just looked like fucking slick as fuck, like shirt, hair slicked back, badass. I think he even swore in his speech and stuff, like none of that super polished PR stuff, but also worked with EA to bring you things like It Takes Two and A Way Out and so on. Anyway, this I remember getting rave reviews. I've never played it. The fact it's been remade is a big shout because I'm a big fan of what Joseph Fares has done. What was the agency that made it? Whatever his development firm, I can't remember the name of them, whatever they were called. I want to say Hazelight or something like that, but I might be getting it completely wrong or mixing it up with something else. Great stuff anyway, so yeah, big shout to this.
He was right.
Nice.
Hazelight, yep.
Nice. Former Payday developer reveals Den of Wolves. So 10 Chambers brought Den of Wolves to the Game Awards, which the Swedish developer describes as techno-thriller cooperative heist game. I imagine you robbing a bank with like Blade, fucking Operation Blade theme tune running in the background. 10 Chambers told IGN Den of Wolves has been on the team's mind for a decade. Inspired by our Payday roots, we're back on the heist shit. We're back on that heist shit. Nice. Okay, so Black Myth Wukong has a release date. We saw this one in one of our previous broadcasts. I can't remember which one this was. I actually saw a big stand at this for this at Gamescom and realised, I completely forgot what this was. But there was a lot of people interested in Black Myth Wukong, so I think I'm going to have to look around and watch into it. I don't feel, from skipping through it, it's my kind of game. It's very big, very fantasy-ish sort of stuff, but I feel like maybe a bit too big and too fantasy adventure for me.
It definitely had my attention until you see the world's biggest fucking tarantula scrapping with you. And now that instantly goes, do you know what, mate? Nope, not for me. That is not for me. I mean, the combat looks cool. It looks I say modern because all combat in games like this all seem to be very standardized across the board now. So if you imagine like a Dark Souls or an Elden Ring type game, that's what the combat looks like. But yeah, you know what it looks like? It's like a Bug's Life. It's like a Bug's Life without the animation. Like all the insects and everything are absolutely massive, and you seem very, very small. To that
Godzilla moment there at 2 minutes and 10 seconds in. Fuck, goddamn.
Yeah, but it's not my kind of game, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think same. Okay. I'm going to just start hitting titles now because we have to have, obviously, we've got to wrap this up, but then we've got to talk about the overall picture. So Tales of Kenzira Zao is coming April 23rd, 2024. Palia is coming to Nintendo Switch next week. Outlast Trials is coming to consoles. So survival horror multiplayer game The Outlast Trials is coming to PC, PS5. All right, interesting. It's coming out to PC, PS5. That's great. Xbox Series X and S and Xbox One on March the 5th, 2024. I'm assuming Outlast Trials follows Outlast. If that is the case, then definitely we'll be interested in playing that because Outlast was badass. Rise of the Golden Idol revealed. As Dusk Falls coming to PS4 and PS5. So the choice-based game As Dusk Falls is getting released on PS4 and PS5 on the 7th of March. The PS5 version has haptic feedback, touch controls, and audio description accessibility on both the PS4 and PS5 versions. Looked really good in, I think it was the Xbox Showcase that one was in. Looked really good. Last Sentinel revealed from Lightspeed LA. So it's a narrative-focused open-world game coming from Lightspeed Studios and Lightspeed LA. Check out the trailer reveal trailer, which shows off a futuristic Tokyo. Zenless Zone Zero is coming 2024. Space Marine 2 is coming September 9th, 2024. Nice Warhammer 40k video game for anyone that's got an itch that needs scratching. Mecha Break gets a flashy combat trailer. So if you're into big mechs, then yeah, check that one out. Not Big Macs, that's me, but not Big Macs, no. The First Descendant gets a summer 2024 release window. Exoborn is an open-world extraction shooter set in a post-apocalyptic US beset by extreme weather. Interesting. That sounds interesting. There's no embedded video on that one, which is a shame, because that sounds one that gets my attention, but Exoborn, we'll have a look. Guilty Gear Strive adds... I read that as elephant, but it says Elfelt Valentine to the roster. So, yeah, nice. Elephant Valentine. Banisher's Ghosts of New Eden gets another trailer. The first Berserker Kazan reveal trailer. Supernatural action adventure Usual June revealed. Daniel Mullins' next game is Pony Island 2 Panda Circus. Harmonium the musical. Dead Cell Studio Motion Twin reveals Windblown. Thrasher announced from the developer of Thumper. just picking out words that begin with an ending er.
People are going to be listening to this on demand and going, what is he talking about? Like,
well, wait until the next one. World of Goo 2 has been revealed. Nice. Arknight's Enfield is coming to PS5. The Matchless Kung Fu reveal trailer. So the Matchless Kung Fu got a new trailer early on during the Game Awards. There's a fresh look at Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. Ready or Not version 1.0 is coming on December the 13th, which is today. Honkai Star Rail gets a new trailer. GTFO's final update gets a trailer. I'm going to hit play on that one because that's a good name. I'm a big fan of the acronym GTFO. GTFO's final update got the spotlight at TGA's 2023, 6 years after the game was revealed on the very same stage. Is it a scary? Yeah, scary shooter alien game. Nice. I was like,
so it's like a four-player. I don't want to say extraction shooter, but it looks great. Like it's a game that's been on my wish list on Steam for the longest time. Level Infinite game as well. But yeah, it looks great. It looks great.
Interesting. Asgard's Wrath 2 is coming to MetaQuest on December the 15th. StarCraft-like Stormgate gets a new gameplay trailer, and that is everything done. We've been live for a long period of time, so you can see there was a lot of content within that. Obviously, pick your own key beats. I think it's kind of obvious as to which bits we were hyped about. Blade, Jurassic Park, clearly the biggest two for us. In terms of you guys, obviously let us know what you're excited about. If there's anything we didn't look at and you want us to look at in due course, then feel free to let us know, particularly on the next scoops and stuff. Just to let you know, by the way, there won't be an episode of the Scoop today because this one's been so long. So we will just go into our post-event wrap-up. So that was the Game Awards. All of the content that was announced. Naturally, we've been live for an hour and a half and we only touched the surface of some of it. There is a lot more that we hardly even touched on. So you're thinking, okay, well, that's a lot of content that you're ploughing in. Surely that will have implications on the amount of other messages that you can put around that. Like developers, it's called the Game Awards. They are just announcements, advertisements. No one's actually won an award in any of that sort of stuff yet. And that led to a lot of other issues. So I don't actually know the way that this article is framed because I haven't read through it myself, but it'll probably touch on a few things. So we'll go straight into that one. This is by Paul Tassi at Forbes, and it says, the Game Awards was a full-on parody of itself this year. So while technically, yes, a number of awards were given out at last night's 2023 Game Awards, including high-profile games like Baldur's Gate 3 and Alan Wake 2 honoured, the show itself has descended into a parody of everything it's often accused of being. For years, the Game Awards host and creator Jeff Keighley has tried to build up the show into the video game Oscars blended with the now-dead E3. And while, yes, publishers absolutely do want to win the awards, and many fans care about who wins, the way the show devolved last night, devolved the last few years in particular, culminated in what we saw last night. Apologies for butchering that. Where to start? Easily, the worst thing the show did was rush through 12.5 of the smaller awards, air quotes on smaller, with Jeff Keighley quite literally shouting them at the screen rapid fire. You could blow through Best RPG, Best Racing/Sports Game, Best Multiplayer Game, and Best Art Direction before you could finish a sip of the drink you no doubt needed to get through the evening. These awards, this is fucking amazing, Willie well written, Paul Tassi, let's go. These awards are significant achievements for each game that wins them, and no one involved in these, air quotes, lesser categories gets to make an acceptance speech, and they're not acknowledged for more than a split second. It's callous and beneath something at least claiming to be an award show. But what if you do win an air quotes real award? Well, you get essentially 30 to 45 seconds to make your speech, which seemed like a hard limit after Christopher Judge's sprawling 8-minute best performance speech last year, but that led to ridiculous, almost insulting moments like Asterian actor Neil Newborn having to rush through his heartfelt speech, or Alan Wake's Sam Lake getting played off early. What the? Okay, anyway, this is in contrast to the way that Jeff treats everyone else. There are no limits on meandering celebrity intros, something the show has become once again obsessed with, finding validation from Hollywood as Matthew McConaughey graces us with the news he's voicing someone in the game, or Simu Liu's given 5 times the length of an acceptance speech to talk about how he hurt his foot. What the fuck? Finally, we ended the show having Timothy Chalamet, for some reason, present the most important award, Game of the Year. Though, to his credit, he avoided annoying swagger like we should be. To his credit, he avoided annoying swagger like we should be honoured. He showed up. Okay. But why was he there in the first place? The show is regressing to the days of Spike TV's VGX Awards, where when we were supposed to be past all of this. Then there are what I call Jeff obsessions, namely his recurring Muppet segment, which, again, uses up the amount of time that could otherwise be given to more stage awards and actually honouring the creators. And as much as we all love Hideo Kojima, Keighley giving him the stage every single year for some extensive feature about a nebulous project for a 15-minute interview feels ridiculous against the relentless pace of the rest of the show. In general, if you were talking about a new or upcoming game you're promoting between your trailer and possibly an interview, we're talking 5 times the time any individual award is given on stage. And we had at least 4 of those segments where Jeff spits out 4 to 5 award winners in 40 seconds. And of course, there was not even an attempt to acknowledge anything other than "games bring us all together." That was a quote, that, by the way, as the overall sentiment of the show. Everyone kept waiting for Jeff to at least mention the nearly 10,000 layoffs the gaming industry has seen this past year, and they kept waiting for the entire show because it never came up once. Neither, naturally, did the Game Awards future class petition for the show to recognise the humanitarian crisis in Gaza. I suppose some of the winners could have mentioned these issues in speeches where they're not given little more than time to say thank you. I actually have said that I thought the Game Awards has really improved the past few years in particular. Yes, it's always been an advertising showcase, but there was something in there that felt like it was trying to be a real award show and honour the games and creators. This year, there was barely any of that at all, and it felt like any facade of this being about awards went out the window in favour of Hollywood stars, Muppets, and Hideo Kojima. It needs to do better. What a fucking world-class write-up from Paul Tassi that is.
Innit? It just,
I mean,
like, there is nothing in that article that isn't true, and that is the be all and end all of it. I love the fact that we have a showcase that has awards being given out for people's heart, blood, sweat, and tears being poured into this digital art, essentially, for our pleasure. They deserve the awards that they're all winning, regardless of whether or not we think they deserve the awards. Their peers and everybody else around the world has voted for them to win that award, regardless of whether or not you think they deserve it or not. So they should therefore get their time in the sun. But the fact that they were getting 30 seconds, 30 to 40, yeah, if you're lucky, if you're in one of the categories that they deem to be one of the big ones.
Not smaller or lesser, air quotes, air quotes.
45 seconds is a fucking disgrace, and there's genuinely no other way that I can put that any kind of, like, if this show is 3 hours long, there's 31 awards being given out during that time. So if they was to, I don't know, allocate 2 minutes per category for the acceptance speech, that would then take it just over 2 hours, shall we say. That then gives them more than enough time to advertise all of these games, if they wanted to do it like that. But they don't. They'd rather allocate 2 hours worth of advertisements and 31 awards being given out within the hour, which is just, you would never see that at the Grammys. You would never see that at the BAFTAs. You will never see that at the VMAs. You will never see that on any other ITV. What's the one that they have over here? The National Television Award and the NTAs. They're dedicated to giving out awards to people and companies and producers and actors and any other media category that they deserve it, and they have their time in the sun to come out and thank their wives, their husbands, their children, their stage co-hosts, whoever it may be, and whatever award that is that they're getting on, they're getting their time to be able to do that. And the fact that there is one award show throughout the year that's as big as this, and they don't get that opportunity, is genuinely, I feel so bad for the people who are obviously there, suited and booted, enjoying the experience. They finally won that award that may have eluded them for the last 10 years or something, and they get to go on stage and literally just take it and say thank you, and a massive screen in front of them saying please wrap it up. That, it genuinely is an absolute disgrace. And being a man of the people that he claims to be, Jeff Keighley, it just it just seems to be I mean, this is nearly insufferable is the word I'm looking for.
I've made no secret of the fact that I respect Jeff Keighley and what he's done for video games journalism and mainstreamifying some of the more nerdier aspects of video games, like celebrating the best bits of it out there and so on. But I've also never hidden the fact that I feel Jeff Keighley does stuff as long as it adds to the Jeff Keighley show. So his stupid Muppets segments, like building that crap in year after year, is because he's thinking the people really love to see me do this stuff with the Muppets. And it's like, no, you are a man of significant influence. So if you do something, people with significant influence get ass kisses. So those people are going to stand around you going, it's a great use of a large amount of money paying for that Muppets license to get that stuff in the Video Game Awards show. We all love the fact that you're on stage with the Muppets characters and doing things for yourself. Nobody cares. Genuinely, nobody cares. You are doing that stuff and it's entirely self-serving, and you either know that and don't care, or you don't know that because people around you are going, oh, it's Jeff Keighley, I can't say anything to him, which then makes me question what kind of person you are. If people can't tell you that stuff is bullshit, what kind of person must you be like? Because I'd want people to go, Graham, do you know what? You keep doing that stuff and I'm glad you enjoy it, but it's fucking horrible. Please stop it. Nobody's laughing with you. Oh, no. And so once you get past that horrible stuff, the please wrap it up stuff, where the very best game of 2023 has gone through everything and has been crowned the ultimate game of the year, and you give them 30 seconds before you're going, come on, faster. Bullshit. Horrendous. Disrespectful. And then... this is the Jeff Keighley. Once again, a reminder that Jelly Media works with Konami and many games brands. But obviously, a few years ago, Jeff Keighley did my friend wasn't allowed to come to my show, so we need to stand up and cause lots of bullshit for people that don't even work for Konami, but support them in all sorts of other ways. He stood on his soapbox and he called for people to basically go and attack social media channels. That whether he called for that specifically with those words, that's what his actions led to. And he did that time and time again. If you didn't know it the first time, you knew after the first time. But he wasn't bothered because that social media outrage gives him airtime and exposure. So he sacrificed people for his greater good in the name of doing the right thing. But when he had an opportunity to do the right thing last week, and talk about actual tens of thousands of deaths, silence. Actual tens of thousands of people being made redundant in an industry that's giving him a shitload of cash, silence. He's not bothered about the people in the industry if it doesn't suit his narrative. And we've criticised bits before. I don't know if Aurora's in the stream. Aurora's been lurking quite a bit this last few weeks. Hi, Aurora, if you are. Never mind if you're not. But Aurora said one of the best explanations or names, should I say, for one of his content. We always joke about Jeff Keighley single-handedly edits the trailer for his award show that he presents, and then it's the same thing with the Video Game Awards, and he's talking about we're all the industry and we need to come together and celebrate because video games brings us together, which was actually touched on in this article. But then the Turtle Dragon Cat, thank you for the follow. I appreciate that. But then you get to the awards show and it's Jeff Keighley, an American white dude, with his mate who's also an American white dude, and his friend who's an American white dude, and it's like, okay, so we're at Summer Games Fest, and Rora said she called it, what do you mean, Summer White Dude Fest? And I was like, yeah, okay, that's perfect. But it was like it's all about him and what fits him and his friends and that cronyism stuff that you get in the world of fucking Tories. Hi, Tito. It's rich people looking out for rich interests and other rich people. And if they can do the right thing and it aligns with what they want, they will do that. But if it doesn't, they won't. And this is the perfect example of Jeff Keighley doing what the Game Awards / he needs. And the Game Awards was already 2 to 3 hours of advertising bullshit last year. People were already talking about it. The downside for me was last year, a lot of people, and this includes lots of video game content creators across multiple different mediums that I watch, that clearly are friends with or are scared of the influence of Jeff Keighley. We're kind of going, yeah, it was probably a bit too much, but, you know, he's improved it a few bits over the last years and so on. So hopefully we get a bit more next year. And I feel like, well, he dodged a bullet there, because this was that last year. But now he's gone even further in a year where there is a lot of passionate statements that need to be said. And he got away with it last year. And I feel like the fact that he's being called out now means he's not getting away with it. So big fan of that. Will he change for next year? What are your thoughts, Bib?
I feel like this year, more than ever, he has had more backlash, I think, from the outlets. And I don't know whether or not that's because of the industry that we're in now, where 10,000 jobs have just gone missing. As I alluded to on Friday's episode, I think, like, the fact that there's 10,000 people that have now lost their jobs, there is definitely not 10,000 jobs in the video game industry across either indie studios or AAA studios. There just isn't. Like, I don't know another way of being able to say it. There just isn't that many jobs, but a lot of the people may have transferable skills that may work in TV and film production. They may have some digital art stuff that they may be able to work on a Netflix series or something. There will be a lot of people, maybe we'll say 5,000 just to be generous, that may have those transferable skills that may be able to work on the silver screen stuff away from video games, but that doesn't work with the other 5,000, which may be grips, that may be showrunners, that may be, I don't know, social media teams, that may be storyboard writers. All of that stuff that works in the video game industry might not necessarily be transferable. So they are in limbo until a job opens, and then that company that has 3 jobs available for them, they might have like 400 people fighting for that job. Like, the video games industry is very, very fickle, and obviously we are, a lot of the times as community members, are just as fickle and don't tend to get behind a lot of things that literally don't cater to us anymore, mainly because of the expense of video games nowadays. You can't just take a punt on a video game because they are £70, and £70 is a lot of money. So it's not a case of, right, I might just be able to take the £35 hit and see whether or not I can back it. You're either in or you're out in video games now. There's no middle ground, which is where I think that companies are living and dying now. The profit margins just aren't there. Unless you are a video game company like Epic, like Activision, like Bethesda, like all these companies that have so many different successful IPs that you can probably afford a stinker to go out every now and again. But a lot of these companies nowadays are running paycheck to paycheck. And I don't just mean in terms of the people working there, which they are. I'm talking about they are paycheck to paycheck for the particular game that's being put out there. If that game stinks, that company's going under. So it's such a difficult world, that video game world that we're living in, where it's not necessarily the easiest thing to be able to get into. But again, it just comes down to, if you are the face of the video game industry, whether or not we like it or not, you need to be the person that's impartial. You can have friends, but when it comes down to serving the majority rather than the minority, you need to be the voice. So whether or not he takes, again, this is coming full circle, whether or not he takes advice from his peers that are surrounding him, that are saying your show needs to be better. Like, we understand you have money coming in from advertisers. We absolutely understand that. But you are here to celebrate the people who are making these games that are winning your award. You need to make much more of a bigger deal to these people than anything else. And I think that's what he needs to get behind.
The fact that you mentioned that it's not so easy to take a punt on a video game at 70 quid these days. Like, 70 quid punt on a video game. If you can convince enough people to throw 70 quid onto a video game, you've done a good job. Mm-hmm. Imagine doing that to the point where you not only have convinced a bunch of people, but shitloads of people that really liked it and then voted you as the best RPG, the best multiplayer game, and you just get Jeff Keighley going, best RPG, Ice Cream Uploads, best multiplayer game, Ice Cream Uploads. Obviously, I don't know what the actual award winners are there, so I just threw in Ice Cream Uploads because we'd win if whatever. And that's it. You've gone all that effort. I mean, you'll get an award, you'll get a trophy or something, probably sent through the post second class, because you know, he's got to save the first class postage for the Hollywood celebrities and stuff, So it is, but like, it is a shit show, and do better is the exact words there. He's already not done better though, in my opinion. He has an opportunity to say, do you know what? and I believe he's been very quick with excuses in the past. Either he's done the excuses or his PR machine has, and the excuses have been like, the show is expensive. We need celebrity endorsements. We need all that stuff to give it the oomph, which means that we can get Doritos and Pepsi and all these other global brands to throw money into it to pay for it all. I'm like, well, in that case, then drop a little bit of the expense and do it properly. If Doritos go, well, you can't actually honour the best multiplayer game and the best RPG game and the best racing sports game, then Doritos are not the brand sponsor that you want, because they're not believing in your project. They're making you do something to suit them. And if they're not doing that, then you're doing that voluntarily and you don't believe in the winners in your project and you're at fault. Either way, you are at fault, because either you've made the decision on behalf of the sponsors or the sponsors have forced you to make a decision and you've gone along with it. That has led to the decaying value of best sports game. You just shout it at a screen. Great, nice one. Fucking, where's my bit that shows why that sports game is the best game in the world? Why is it a second-class, lesser or smaller award than anything else? Is it because you don't play sports games? So you don't value them as much? Whereas sports games probably are the most profitable games, outside of obviously GTA, in the world. The amount of money that a FIFA or an FC24 would make versus a lot of your other awards games, it would dwarf them. So why is that a small award? Because it's not your kind of award, and it's that self-serving decision-making that is disgusting. And the fact that he hasn't come out and said, do you know what? I hear what you're all saying. We'll work on it. Let's have a sit down. In the new year, we'll let the dust settle, and we'll have a chat. We'll talk it on the podcast. The fact that he just fucking keeps retweeting about how it's the most viewed thingy and the peak concurrent viewers are the highest they've ever been
It's
before.
not about numbers, though, Graham.
Yeah, no, not at all. This is the same Jeff Keighley that wanted to get rid of the world premiere because, we want to make the celebration be about games and we want all games to be celebrated equally. What, like the lesser, smaller games that just get their titles shouted at the screen and fucking aggressively in the first few seconds of the show? That doesn't feel very equal to me. Oh, that's because their games are already out and they're not paying to advertise the new ones in it, so they don't matter anymore, even though that's what you're there for. So, love the fact that this has come about and Jeff Keighley is being pulled apart for it because he's so big and so successful and so influential. There are a lot of other people that are big and successful and influential, and they're either scared of him or work with him, so won't say anything about him. So seeing Paul Tassi come out and just say it's a full-on parody, I'm all for that. Yes, please, because I've not even seen it, and it was shit. just reading that is terrible. Blurting,
scathing.
Yeah, like 30 to 45 seconds to make a speech. Yeah. The best people in the industry as well. Air quotes best. Yeah. Obviously, it's an award show. That's where that comes from. You beat every other studio in the entire world in that 12-month period to do something better than anyone else. And you get 30 seconds to go, do you know, I really appreciate you all. Thank you for buying it. Thanks to our blah, 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 blah. Sadly, we lost some people on the way. I'm sorry, mate. We don't care about your deaths. Hurry up. You know what? They're not here now, are they? And you won't be here next year. So fuck off. Get your awards. Get off the stage so we can talk about fucking Diet Coke again or whatever the next sponsored segment is. Oh, wait, actually, Jeff Keighley's got a Muppet dressed like him. Which one's which? Banter, which is actually what David said in the chat. Where was it? It was... Oh, was it Tito? I've lost it. There was something about Muppets and it's gone now. Oh, no, Jeff, we said we think you are a Muppet. Not we want to see you with the Muppets. There you go. Jeff probably saw how big Chris Judge was and him fighting in Stargate SG-1. I think I'd let him ramble for 8 minutes too. Correct. Jeff needs his stage time. It's not really called the Game Awards. It's called the Jeff Awards. Yes. I've said that about your singing before, mate. Didn't go down well. Hey, I think you'll find that my singing is one of the most top 10 clipped... it's the top 10 most watched clips on the channel, mate. So...
It was just watching it repeatedly. That's what it was.
It was Lotus and Kane watching it repeatedly. I only accounted for 25% of the views. They accounted for the other 75 between them. So there you go. Yeah, okay, we'll wrap it up there. So you get the idea. Some realism, but some positivity. Well, a lot of positivity and a lot of great content. So much of it that we couldn't cover it. There is definitely a world where the TGAs has new trailers. It has sponsored segments. It has the glitz and glam of a Matthew McConaughey and the fucking Muppets rolling out on the same stage. You can do all of that stuff, but you do not do that at the expense of the whole point. It is called the Game Awards. And if you start to sacrifice awards, you are sacrificing the integrity of the whole thing that you are trying to make. I don't care. I don't care how you cut it. You cannot convince me that you shouldn't have the same sort of precedence for the lesser, air quotes, smaller, air quotes, games of the year than you would for the Ultimate Game of the Year. They've all done a bit. They've all done enough to get to that stage. And if you can sacrifice those to spend 15 minutes talking to Hideo Kojima about something that we're not going to play for 3 or 4 years anyway, because you're going to have him on next year, and you'll have him on the year after that anyway, like you do every single year. If you're going to sacrifice those creators to look after your self-serving content for your mates, then you are not in it for the Game Awards. You are in it for your self-preservation and self-serving reasons, and the Game Awards are just a vehicle for you to achieve that. So I appreciate what you've done for it. I appreciate how far you've brought it forward, but the fact that you can easily turn your back on numerous awards and you can cut people off mid-speech. The bit I mentioned about, like, oh, you've lost people in your team along the way, it was an actual thing. I believe it was Baldur's Gate 3, although I don't have the tweet or comments that I saw in front of me. One of the Baldur's Gate 3 team were talking about they've made the single best game for the whole of the year, the absolute crowning pinnacle of video game awards content, and talking about how they've lost some members of their team along the way and wanted to dedicate it to them, whilst simultaneously being told, wrap it up, please, is rude, disrespectful, and self-serving. Yes, all productions and broadcasts have time, speaking of which we are over it, but you don't cut people off when they're in the middle of such a heartfelt sentiment. And if you have to do that, you sacrifice something else elsewhere. You tell Doritos, I'm sorry, we didn't give you that, but what we'll do is we'll put you 5 posts out over the next few days, or we'll do something creative, or whatever. And clearly, he sees little people that make video games as expendable, despite that being the big components of his show that makes it be a thing in the first place. And that is a shame. Anyway, the Jeff and Mates Earning Awards, the GAME, so the Jeff and Mates Earnings Award. Yeah, exactly. That's pretty much it. Okay, so the Game Awards had some phenomenal content in it. Jurassic Park Survival, yes please. Blade, yes please. And numerous bits of other content, including Rocket Racing and stuff, which is obviously already out in the game now. Controversy aside, and we're not going to put it aside too far, because it definitely needs to be picked upon. The Game Awards are becoming extremely commercial, but the reason they exist in the first place is because there's some phenomenal people making phenomenal video games, and it sounds like we've had a few. Would you agree, Mr. Bibb?
Absolutely. We're definitely missing the Sega collection, or the new Sega IPs that are coming as well from that.
Yeah, it's just because there's like a million games. I can't remember.
Jake, all we care about, Graham, is more Streets of Rage and more Golden Axe.
Do you know, I could hear the when you because you mentioned Streets of Rage. I was listening to the car yesterday driving to the office, and when I heard you mention Streets of Rage, I was like, oh, fucking yeah, boy. And then I heard you go, I was like, that's the feeling that I'm feeling as well. So yeah, yes, please.
So overall, even if it was just those that was announced, it would have been a great show in terms of the games that we've got to see. I know it's kind of hypocritical for me to say great show, because the games that was given were games that I'm super interested in, but the overarching comments of the show is obviously it needs to be reformatted. Like, again, using the example, you got 31 awards to give out. If you want to give them 2 minutes to be able to talk, that's just over an hour. Do you know what I mean? Like, increase it to 3 minutes. I obviously understand that they need to come out and talk and say these are the award, this is the award, these are the nominees. Like, dedicate at least an hour and a half, an hour and 45 minutes to just rewarding the people that have made the video games industry what it is. Because without those people, obviously you're not going to have an award show, and then you can sell the rest of it. It might not be as fruitful. It might not be as you might not make the biggest amount of money, but increase the show to 3.5 hours then. Like, if you need to dedicate 2 hours solidly to advertisements and new games that are coming out, just increase the show by half an hour. Job done. Across the board, everybody wins then. Your viewership numbers might not be the best, but ultimately it's about the people that are in the room that are winning the awards, and they'll stay there for 4 hours if they think that they might end up winning an award at the end of the night. So I understand that it's you need to cater to your audiences and people that are watching it online, because that's where you're going to get most of your money. But ultimately, it's about the people that are inside that room.
No, completely agree. The fact as well, was it last year where they had like a pre-show? So they had like a 3-hour show or something like that, and they had an hour before the show. So when he's barked like awards at the screen quickly, that I'm gonna karate chop my dog in a minute. The fact that he's barking awards at the screen is a wrap up of, or probably a readdressing of what he was doing. Milo!
Milo's on one.
Yeah, the fact that he's barking the awards at the screen is probably because he got told off a couple of years ago for... Can you hear people shouting at me in the background as well?
I can hear someone else shouting, I don't know.
He got told off for doing them pre-show. So people were turning up for the main broadcast at 8 p.m, but he'd actually gone live at 7 p.m, and not as quickly rattled through them, but he was doing them slowly and quickly in a pre-show, so it wasn't even like the full show sort of thing. I reckon he's probably thought, I can't do it in a pre-show, so instead I'll just go live and bark them at the screen. Bullshit, mate. It's bullshit. You need to be honouring that stuff. Don't get me wrong. Awards shows can be boring. For anyone that's ever been in a company or a business or a brand or whatever and been to one of these award shows, they do get a bit tedious. They do. But there is so much creative content in video games that... it doesn't have to be tedious. You don't have to sit down and go, okay, we'll talk about video game stuff for 3 hours and then just do 90 minutes of just solid award after award after award after award, because that will get a bit tedious. Have content that fits into the segment. Split it up so that you have an award, and then you play a video game and you do some more awards and you play video. And coming up next up, we're going to have a trailer from Hideo Kojima. Plus, we'll be announcing the best sports game, the blah blah and the blah blah, and so people know what's coming and you keep it coming. You've got almost your ad breaks of your video segments with your Kojimas and co on. That's the way it should be. Not pushing people 30 seconds, go. Build people 2-3 minutes in for their acceptance speech, because if 3 minutes is a good chunk of time, the average song is 3 to 4 minutes, and if you stood up there for more than 3 to 4 minutes, you're starting to lose people's attention anyway. 30 seconds is not enough to start to be telling people to wrap up. That is disgusting. So yeah, if he can't fit it in 3 hours, he's doing something wrong. And like I say, for me, the big thing is people go, yeah, but he needs the sponsors and he needs that placement because that shows what's coming next year. And why is next year more important than what's happened this year? This is the Game Awards, not the game forecast. We're not having a look at what's happening next year. We're celebrating what was done this year. And it's that misunderstanding of what the show needs to be. People keep going, he needs the advertisement to pay for it. We'll get a smaller venue. Yeah, but then it won't look as good. Well, then it's not there yet. If he can't just command the revenue for what the award should be, then he's not where he wants to be yet, and he needs to put more work in developing. That's not a bad thing in terms of he's not working hard enough. It just means some things you can't sell something until it's ready to be sold. And if it's not quite at the point where he can earn the revenue from his advertisers to get these big shows and pay for Matthew McConaughey to go on stage and pay for the Muppets to be there, then ditch the Muppets.
Fucking hell, size of this moth.
That's how it is. If you don't have the revenue for that to comfortably do the Game Awards, then it's not right. And you've overspent, you've overestimated, you've overegged yourself, and you need to peel that back so that you can do justice to the people that have been there. That's where I stand on that. 12 size of this forehead cock. Welcome in. Anyway, we are going to wrap it up. Because we could talk about this, we can go around in circles for 4 hours. There was a bunch of great games shown. We haven't even gone through the awards, ironically. We're bitching about Jeff Keighley about the VGAs and not covering what the awards actually were. God damn, we're just as bad. But that's not the point. That wasn't the point of this show. It was to go over. Obviously, we're talking about the news, and that's what it is. Obviously, we will share the article for anyone that wants it. If you want it in the Discord, we can drop it in there. We have already posted it in the chat, but we can do it again if needs be. And then do feel free to go check out Paul Tassi's article at Forbes if you want to check through that. The full list of awards winners are out there. You can find those on your own Steam. But we aren't going to do an awards winners show. We're talking about the VGAs in general from a content and bigger social impact perspective. So obviously, if you do want to see the awards winners, you can do it. There you go. Maybe sharing links to both the articles that we've covered in this episode of The Scoop Special. Nice. If you did join us for the start, you will have heard us we'll talk about that for about 40 minutes. We've been on it for about an hour and 40 minutes after the pre-show, so So there will be no general daily scoop recording today, but we'll hopefully get you that on Friday. There's probably not going to be a scoop unless Bibby managed to dig out a dollop tomorrow, but we'll see. We'll see. Got to wrap things up now.
Yeah.
I'm going to be back on the channel in about an hour and a half-ish. Usually about 6:30 I'm live, but we'll see. It might be a bit later, obviously, because I've got to go off and finish things up, have tea, and all the rest. So there will be Chasing Crates with Mates tonight. If you're around for that, please do feel free to jump in. If not, that's fine. Screw you. I don't care. Whatever, mate. But before that happens, Mr. Bibb, is there what you want to add?
Yes, again, thank you very much for joining us for this super long episode special of The Scoop. We like to do these maybe 3 or 4 times a year, maybe the Gamescom Aftermath, Summer Games Fest, a Video Game Awards, and anything else, PlayStation State of Play, etc., etc. Something about Xbox in there as well, just to annoy Tito a little bit. But yes, if you would like to get involved with our last show of the week, I'm fairly confident that we can get one out on Friday, so that'll be a 3 scoop week. Imagine that.
God damn.
Hot damn. Yeah, you should know this by now. We're well over bloody nearly 800. Well, I think we're over 800 episodes now, so you guys know this. If you want to get involved, all you need to do, go to the description below if you're watching this in any of our on-demand services. All the links that you require will be listed there, but all we need from you is a URL plus your thoughts and opinions. We will then give you our thoughts and opinions on the very next show, which will be at what time on Friday, Mr. Graham Day?
No idea.
Wait, no, 10 a.m. ish.
Yes.
Nice. Yeah, we'll be back around 10 a.m. ish, probably ish, on Friday for the next episode of The Scoop. Please do feel free to join us for that. Like I said, I will be live tonight with some PUBG, Chasing Crates with Mates, and we'll have more video game content for you this weekend. Do feel free to join us on Friday for The Scoop, and we'll tell you about what you can expect gaming-wise at that point in time. But for now, have yourselves a beautiful day. Stick around for the raid. We're going to drop in on one of our friends, because no doubt one of the beautiful people from the world of video games that we know and play games with will be live right now. But for us, for yourselves, have yourself a beautiful evening. We'll see you in about an hour and a bit for some PUBG. And until then, what they got to do, Bib?
You gotta stay frosty.